16 million people had already been approved. The money was literally about to go out the door. And then Republican elected officials and special interests stepped in. They said, no, no. Literally snatching from the hands of millions of Americans thousands of dollars in student debt relief that was about to change their lives. You know, these Republican officials just couldn't bear the thought of providing relief for working class, middle class Americans. Republican state officials sued my administration, attempting to block relief, including millions of their own constituents. Republicans in Congress voted to overturn the plan. I think every one. I don't think I had any Republican votes for this plan. At the same time, think about this. We all supported the Paycheck Protection Program, remember? PPP, you know, which was designed to help business owners who lost money because of the pandemic.
20 taxes. Several changes from 2019 tax returns could make you eligible for more stimulus money. If you had a baby in 2020, if you claimed another dependent in 2020, or if you made less in 2020 than 2019. And don't worry, you won't lose any stimulus money if you made more in 2020. But be ready to wait for your check. The IRS has until the end of the year to send plus-up payments.
If you don't get it by December 31st, then it will be on your next year's tax return.
Another reason for delay? If you didn't have the correct amount of stimulus money.
Low-income families can also get stimulus checks this year. The majority of taxpayers received their refunds in November, though some people are still waiting for money. The State Revenue Service said that those are eligible who have not received the checks yet should just wait by December 29th to receive the stimulus, if you haven't gotten one already. And it still needs to clear several steps before it becomes law. Last week, the mayor said that he'd revealed the details of the plan to send monthly checks from Missouri to low-income families. The plan calls for using $5 million in federal crisis aid to send $500 to families for 18 months. Now, around 3 million Massachusetts residents are set to receive tax rebates worth around 14% of what they paid in state income taxes. Folks, get ready for stimulus, it's here. I finally have some good news about the Ford stimulus check, and this time it is the truth. There is a ton of information that I want you guys to know about the Ford stimulus payment. A ton of news that you have to cover. The rebates will be sent directly to taxpayers' bank accounts through direct deposit. Otherwise, the rebate will be sent as a check in the mail for those who do not have direct deposit set up. The total received for the rebates is a set of fractions of one paid income tax, meaning higher earners will earn much more than that. A person who makes 35 grand will receive 200, while someone who makes $1 million would receive. Folks, get ready for stimulus, it's here. I finally have some good news about the Ford stimulus check, and this time it is the truth. There is a ton of information that I want you guys to know about the Ford stimulus payment. A ton of news that you have to cover. The rebates will be sent directly to taxpayers' bank accounts through direct deposit. Otherwise, the rebate will be sent as a check in the mail for those who do not have direct deposit set up. The total received for the rebates is a set of fractions of one paid income tax, meaning higher earners will earn much more than that. A person who makes 35 grand will receive 200, while someone who makes $1 million would receive 7,000. There's plenty of time for people to file a tax return, as the deadline for this rebate is extended through September of next year. Prices rose less than expected, and the latest sign is that the runaway inflation has been gripping the economy even worse. The Labor Department reported again that the Consumer Price Index, which measures a wide basket of goods and services, rose just 0.1% from the previous month and increased 7.1% from a year ago. Economists had already been expecting a 0.3% monthly increase and a 7.3% 12% monthly rate. So the increase from a year ago, while above the Federal Reserve's target for a healthy inflation level, was tied for the lowest since November. It excludes volatile food and energy prices, and so-called the Core Consumer Price Index rose 0.2% and 6% on an annual basis. Joe Biden celebrated today the positive Consumer Price Index report. He said that it showed inflation is easing in the country ahead of the holiday season. Biden also said we had learned last month that the inflation rate has come down from what many experts expected, in a world where inflation is rising in double digits in many major economies around the world. The easing suggests that the Federal Reserve's interest rate increase could be working as intended, and the Fed may be able to change and achieve the soft landing it wants to achieve, and avoid a large-scale economic shutdown. The report is likely to be reassuring of the Fed and the central bank Jerome Powell when it comes to its meeting on Wednesday. The Fed is expected to only increase interest rates by half point, as opposed to the 3/4 points it has deployed throughout the year. The report marks the 5th month in a row where the rate of inflation has declined in the United States. Biden said, "I want to be clear, it's going to take time to get inflation back to normal levels as you make the transition to a more stable and steady growth." Biden said he hopes prices will return to normal by the end of
What is this going to look like? Well, the Biden plan right now calls for $1,400 for individuals who make up to $75,000 and married couples who make up to $100,000. But Republicans say this needs to be more targeted. It has to go, they say, to the people who need it the most. So they're proposing lowering that amount from $1,400 to $1,000 for anybody making under $40,000. If you make over $50,000, well, under the Republican plan, the checks would disappear completely. Now, we heard from Maryland Republican Congressman Andy.
We finally have some breaking news around the fourth stimulus check, and now they've released a new announcement on the United States economy. Americans are finally ready to see the financial relief at the grocery store and gas stations. But lawmakers are insisting that the government set aside more stimulus for retirees and seniors, and I definitely agree because stimulus payments are necessary. Many lawmakers and economists are looking at Joe Biden's sweeping stimulus package and its impact on the country. The American Rescue Plan Act, which cost a whopping $1.9 trillion, had a slew of provisions tucked into it and help battle the fallout of the crisis and plug holes in the social safety net. One of them is the Lewis Act, and this legislation was meant to shore up the finances of multi-employer pension plans, which are responsible for providing benefits to the retirees. And before the American Rescue
benefits that they didn't claim originally. According to the IRS, 9 million Americans potentially have unclaimed money, and Ssdi says with the 2021 tax year offering more benefits like increased child tax credits, you could have more money waiting for you.
You can still get those benefits. So if you have any reason to suspect that you didn't get all your credits or all your stimulus monies, go see a tax pro.
So we can verify no, just because the IRS is ending their free file program for 2021 doesn't mean you can't still get unclaimed benefits from that year. Ssdi says you can amend your return on your own.
So some people may not qualify for any more monthly benefits. After changes have been made, the lawmakers say that millions of people on SNAP will continue to receive extra relief cash throughout the year. The benefit amount may decrease again this year, but so far, President Biden is still working on a fourth stimulus package. So there has been some breaking news on SNAP benefits. The recipients will receive another sizable payment in December. It includes a 12.5% cost of living approved for the fiscal year of next year. The 2022 COLA already kicked in October 1st. It will run again through September, which will help SNAP recipients offset rising food costs. But experts are warning about how the COLA may cut monthly SNAP benefits for our people. There were significant changes that made the SNAP benefits this year. In September, the governor already announced an expansion to the state SNAP program. And according to the Department of Human Services, the change meant an additional 420,000 Pennsylvanians are eligible for food stamps. Pennsylvania increased the income threshold for applicants to 200% of the federal poverty income guidelines. But due to the cost of living adjustment, some Louisiana households may see a decrease in SNAP and other benefits, according to the Louisiana Department of Children and Services. This has so far affected millions of people.